is true. So what the doctor order? 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 Hey! I feel that good!
What the doctor order?
What massive?
What the doctor order?
Give me! Hey! Give me!
It's on tonight. Let's talk Calypso. Join the conversation on www.caribbeanpulse.net with our special guest, George D. Mirage, Calypso historian, author, researcher, and a man who knows about Calypso. Your host would be Pat Morris Edwards, aka Brother Mark. Tune in tonight, Wednesday the 20th of March, 8:15 p.m. on www.caribbeanpulse.net. And let's talk Calypso.
Thank you. Good night.
Yes. We want to say a special good night and welcome to the segment again, the Let's Talk Calypso with yours truly on the inside, Mr. Honorable Dr. George Mirage, yes, the main man at the moment. And online with me already, seeing Al Ishmael John Williams. I have to be very, very cautious about my introduction with that guy. And of course, I am seeing the Right Honorable, the Minister of Culture himself from San Fernando, boy, the boss, the Managing Director, the CEO of the Kaisoka Moko Jumbies. Yes, and the school is really registered as the San Fernando School of the Arts and Sports. I think so, Mr. Bisnat. Good night. Welcome to the broadcast.
Yeah, good night. What an introduction.
well, bro, you know, we had to step up in the game, you know. Nobody had doing that.
Yes.
Nobody.
And my apology for last week. I wasn't tuned in.
Oh, yeah.
I was out on a job and I couldn't tune in at the moment.
Nothing wrong with that. We know when you have your commitment, how it is deliver, and you deliver professionally. So whenever they call you, you know you're always on the ball. So we know that your heart is with us. So guys, once again, yes, tonight's topic is very, 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 how we must say this, is a trivial topic to deal with, because the topic for tonight is, why are the Calypso tents dying? So the music in the background is, yes, Calypso dying by yours truly, Brother Mark. Listen, John Public complaining. John Public complaining, how Calypso dying. The music that we know as Calypso disappearing slow. Rhythm with foreign influence, lyrics to them not making sense. No originality with them sweet melody. So much topic of interest. Oh my goodness, what is this? Now they dilute the genre and they calling it soca. They jump on a rhythm and they singing anything for Calypso. For Calypso. For Calypso. For Calypso. No.
Tonight, let's talk Calypso. Join the conversation on www.caribbeanpulse.net with our special guest, George D. Mirage, Calypso historian, author, researcher, and a man who knows about Calypso. Your host would be Pat Morris Edwards, aka Brother Mark. Tune in tonight, Wednesday the 20th of March, 8:15 p.m. on www.caribbeanpulse.net. And let's talk Calypso.
Attention, experience incredible new music.
From Trinidad to the world, welcome to the hottest new platform on internet radio.
Add us to your favorites. Add us to your favorites.
Add us to your favorites.
And keep your browser locked.
Keep your browser locked.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the presenter and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of
Caribbean Pulse Global Broadcasting Network.
Yes, people complaining, Calypso not rising. Those who are in charge of Calypso, destroying it, that's for sure. Acting like they don't really care, making sure they're singing every year. No true consideration for upcoming Calypsonians. Calypso house the whole posse is Management and Company.
Yes, guys. So that was just a teaser. I know the guys on the Coliseum are excited tonight, and we have a full house. I am seeing so many guys on the Coliseum tonight. Welcome again, guys. And the music in the background is, of course, related to the topic tonight. Why the Calypso tends fading away. And that's a general statement. So let me finally say good night to Mr. Russell Cover, who just joined us. Welcome to the broadcast. Let's talk Calypso. And we'll move on to, without any further ado, to introduce the man himself once again to the studios of Caribbean Pulse. Remember, we're streaming live on www.caribbeanpulse.net, as well as on the other social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube. Guys, share the link, share the live, and let us enjoy what we are doing and show the rest of the world that Calypso is on the rise. So without any further ado, as I promised, guys, please, if we mute our mics on the devices that we have on the Coliseum, we won't get any background noise coming back into the broadcast. So if we not when we're not making a contribution, please mute your microphones on your device. That's the guys on the Coliseum. And tonight, listeners, we have a number that you all can call in, 297-6756, and let us hear your views as well. So, guys, put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, and bring on the icon. The man at the moment, the man who has a vested interest. Today I had to quarrel with him for carrying Trinidad and Tobago on his back for too many years. And regardless of where he goes, he has this country on his back, carrying Trinidad and Tobago as an individual who have a vested interest in the island of his birth. So welcome again, and I don't think the listeners need any further introduction. Mr. Dr. Honorable George Maharaj, welcome again to the broadcast, sir, and the studios.
Thanks very much, guys. Thanks for listening. You know, as I explained, this is our fourth week, and I've been getting a lot of responses from people. They're calling in and love the program, and they will listen every week. But this week, I threw out a topic last week, and I'm hoping that we get some feedback from you and what people tell you about why are the Calypso tents dying. I remember when I used to come back to my Trinidad Carnival every year. The first thing I would do, I would go to the Calypso tents. That's where you get all the bacchanal, all the news. You don't have to buy newspapers or listen to radio. At that time, we didn't have the internet or cell phones or anything. So we listened to the Calypso in the tents, the encore verses, and we get everything, all the news. The tents were packed. Sometimes you have to line up outside, and you can't get seats inside. I remember the review tent and Young Brigade. You just have to line up, stand up against the wall and listen. No Now recently, 5 people in a Calypso tent, 10 people tent, up to 25 sometimes. So, and my point is, I would like to hear from the public side, and I know we have a lot of cultural artists and calypsonians out there who have an interest. Why the people stop going or holding back from going to tents? Okay, and I'd like to throw this out to you people out there and find out are your thoughts about the promotion of Calypso, how they stop going to the tents, is it on radio, whatever it is. Tell you can start with Brother Mark if you want. I'm making some notes here. So we got to find out how can we get the population back into the tents and have a Calypso.
Well, I would really like to leave it open at this point. Before I make my contribution, I would like to leave it open to any other guys on the coliseum, either Mr. Russell or John, Mr. Williams or Mr. Bisnat, anybody, because Mr. Bisnat mic is on. You could go ahead, Mr. Bisnat. Let's hear your views, or if you want to give somebody else the opportunity, whatever.
Yeah, I'll a bit and I'll make my comment after.
All right. So we heard everything that's going on in the background coming from your phone. So mute your mic. So, right. So we'll be.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much.
Brother,
yes, man. Brother John Ishmael.
Yeah. Now, get it. People used to go to the tent in abundance because we saw that it was happening. But we hear on the radio. Okay, we saw it happening. It has to certain 10 songs that doesn't play on the radio. And people used to make sure they reach to the tent to hear them kind of song. Right? When you hear, when you go to, I think it was Kitchen at 10, and a fella by the name of Monkey, the mighty Monkey. Right. And you hear, you understand? And Monkey sing it. And when you jam it, don't mind. Do get them jam. Let it jam in front, let it jam behind. Do get them jam. People going to hear them thing. Because them thing are playing on the radio, right? Yes. But when you go to the tent now, they hardly have them kind of songs, The type of calypso they have, people really enjoying it because between me and you, they're picking their friends. I have no apology to make for what I'm saying. They're picking their friends. And those type of calypso that people want to hear, they're leaving it out. So when the length of time they leave out those calypsos, okay, the people get fed up. Because you have a lot of tent calypsos that never played on the radio, You could only hear it in the tent. Right? And that is what people used to come to hear. The bacchanal. You understand?
That's what.
Just remember, baby, save the last jam for me. And when they jam you don't mind. You understand? People want to hear them things. So I'll go leave the floor to someone else now and come back later.
Okay, yes, and that's what I come back for, to hear the bacchanal. Apart from the news of the year, I come back to hear the bacchanal, and Monkey is a good example. His real name, if I remember, is Felix Williams, and he was from Mayaro, if I recall, and a great Calypsonian. Whoever heard about Monkey after that? And not many people. All right. So anybody else?
That is why we were at the museum.
But then I like to jump in the dance, and sometimes I miss some controversial, but some people don't like it because when I left my UPD, I pull up by running. So the way you doing, man, boy, I said, boy, I went to brother Mark, see what they're doing. So I said, well, the thing is about tuning tonight and hear about Calypso. So I say, a lot of people ain't know what going on with Calypso. I say, you know where Lord Bryna from? He thinking. I say, but you live in a stone throw from Lord Bryna. That's just why. Come and hear Lord, Lord Calypso. And when a musician come forward, you're going to hear the people correct name, their stage name, and where they're from, when they're born, and when they pass away. But as Mr. Singh was alluding to his why we staying away from the tent? Because growing up, tents used to come Saparia, Erin, Los Bajo, all down to the Western Peninsula, Point and Citrus, and that doesn't happen no more. Now, as I said, why? Now, as I say, somebody Calypso, real nice tempo Calypso, we never hear it on the radio, so you have to go to it then. But after a period of the time, we have to blame somebody Calypsonian who started to sing some type of song that was taking some ethnicity away from the Calypso. And they was profiling certain things and people feel offended by that and then they stop going to the tents. So this is one of the factors that kill the tents because you can pay out extra money to come down. Let's say you come to Paria and you spend $10,000 to arrange the music, stage, and pay Calypsonian, and you're only making $2,000. So you in the red. And this is what is part of the percentage that kill all these things. And another thing too is because the unification of Calypsonian and the people who are run Calypso too, who has a lot to be blamed for that because they wasn't unifying the tents, they wasn't putting money towards the tent, and they wasn't telling these tents, remember, you all have to service your area. Let's assume, let's say the Southwestern Peninsula, the only Calypso tent you have there is Bird Calypso tent. Now, I know for a fact that tent is working hard and Mac does a tremendous amount of things going. I cannot say that for the other tents. While somebody tents will say, yes, we're doing something, but they sit back and waiting. Mac is a man does not wait. He carried forward. So when you look back this whole Calypso season pass, not a 10 was touring the Southwest. You have a person right from Superior who in charge of this South and Central region, ain't doing nothing for Calypso. Mac doing for Calypso. That guy getting a salary and he ain't doing for Calypso. So how now would you find it is improving? Only when it have carnival time you're hearing Calypso in school. But are you hearing village Calypsonian, like the 10th, so but we're going Erin tonight. Next week we touring the Southwestern Peninsula. We ain't having that because if you put out money, let's say you go to Ikakas, you're not generating any kind of thing. So now that is a disadvantage. But if Tuco was paying attention to transform the whole industry and make it marketable worldwide, it would have been a great thing. But they are not doing that. They're marketing themselves because I always say it and market back with that. One of the finest Calypso hit Skinner's Park was AKA Blender, and it never went anywhere. The night you could play to hear the fellas and how great that Calypso was. So now people will find, now boy, Kovac is a controversial man. But people know that, but they does not want to come out and say it. But if we do not bring these things in the open, we would not conquer our fear. So to get back these things on the road, you have to go back now and start back by not offending people, too much people. You could have your little Calypso, but don't go around there and try to demoralize a community by singing about them. Now people talk, or you bring that man in here and you hear what that man's saying, or you cannot demoralize one set of ethnicity in the Calypso. It is made for everybody. Look at it, look what now. If you have a chutney show in the Southwestern Peninsula, when you go there full, the people making money. So if Chutney making money, why Calypso can't make money? So we have to ask ourselves that.
Yeah.
So this is a big problem, and the people who to face up that problem is Tuco, and Tuco not working towards that. Now, the Chutney people doing the thing and see how they're following up and see how the type of money coming and they're paying because the Calypso industry, th- these fellas, I want to pay out money. You have to put out money to make money. So this affecting, as I live in the Southwestern Peninsula, I talking about the Southwestern Peninsula. When last you had a good Calypso show in Superior? When last you had one in Faizabad, Rosilac, Labre, Vestini, Point, Cedros, Carcass, Erin? You just have a good show in Beach Road. Magnus put out a show there. I know that I've been there. But how many people coming to listen? Because what Mark is trying to do, sticking up in Tuco and Tuco like that. But the people, the Calypsonian themselves, is not standing up. We should have how many Calypso across Trinidad and Tobago going up to Caribana or going up to Labor Day? If they go up to Labor Day, it's because they're going up on their own and meeting somebody up there to do a gig. And Tuco ain't not putting that. So when Tuco ain't putting that, a fella looking for a gig now, where he getting that gig? The only space they're getting a free gig is Caribbean Pulse. They come into Mark and 24/7 Mark will play Calypso and give them a free gig. But Mark ain't making nothing out of that. He losing money out of his pocket. And nobody stand up for him. I ain't telling all you something what I hear is something I know. So how should we conquer that? One of the things is what Mr. Marach has proposed, a museum. Now, that is a great thing. Now, when that museum finally get going, all those fellas who stand in the back, now they want to take front line and push the fellas who do the job, the dirty job, in the back. So we have to check ourselves. We have to ask Calypsonian when we go out in these areas, refrain from certain things to bring back Calypso on board. I'll just stick up in right there until later. I'm going to give somebody else a little bite.
Hey, thanks very much, man. A good Paul Black.
Well, good evening, everybody. Well, good evening, Brother Mark. Well, you know, this is my food.
I know that. I know that. I know. I'm waiting for you.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. Well, Hannah, this is my food. Yes, sir. So, no, I was in the bathroom. So now came out of dry skin. So I come clean anything. I come clean. Yeah, come clean. Well, good evening, everyone. So I heard, well, I call him midfielder who now spoke there. I I give him a nickname midfielder because you know he always all over the field. He midfield, he left back, he right back, he center forward. Right, good. Now you all, this is a great topic. Now I am going to shoot. This is a very important thing for me. Now, okay, Dominican shot me so far, right? Now, now, well, now I just jump in there, put a jump back. Now, if you have, let's say, a chutney show, and you have a chutney soca show, you know the chutney soca show, it will score 1,000,000 times, right? Because you know it's up tempo, right? Good. Right, so leaving that there. Now, um, all inclusive soca show, right? All inclusive, right? You know that is the soca singers, all right?
Right.
If we look at it like on TV, you know, that is the worst dancing and spark semi-final, right? Am I lying?
Oh.
Good, good. And the money they're paying to go in there to hear these soca artists is all inclusive, right? Sometimes 800. And these people don't mind because they're going to enjoy themselves. Right. So I'm saying that to say this. Now, you asked the question last week, is Kaiso dying? Right. Now, hear me clearly, and I hope some well, I wouldn't say Tuco, but I could say Tuco, but then you need promoters to do this what I'm about to say. No, all inclusive. According, now remember we have a lot of, now hear me with it, Calypsonians who have soca calypso, or yes, soca calypso over 50 years old, right? And it is sweet as if it made yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Good to dance, good, right? So what we need, and you see this this will make sense, but I don't know who could wrap it. Now you need, I repeat, you need a Kaisonian who has soca calypso over 40 and 50 years old. Eh? I never seen no soca artist. Eh? This is not a soca artist. So you need men like Johnny King, Bali, Nelson, Coulson, Baron, you know. And here what's happening now. A promoter must stick it up on himself. Now you're making this an all-inclusive, right? No, well, you know, Shadow passed on, Penguin passed on, but these brothers know, and the Grandmaster, nobody mustn't come to represent them on no stage, right? Hey, you don't want that. We want the artist live with the band. So, that is all inclusive, eh? You're making that all inclusive. Now tell me, would people over 40, 50, and 60 and 70 blank that? If they say $700 all inclusive, would they blank that? No. No, they will not blank that. Because you know why? Imagine you're going to hear tunes like Poser from way back, Skunter from way back, and you know, them fellas wouldn't get a chance to sing the song, rather, you know what I mean? Them fellas wouldn't get a chance to sing the chorus, you know that? You all know that, right? They will not get a chance to sing the chorus because they'll be getting sweet, sweet, so super. Oh God. You mute that. Oi, who said I mute there? Who said I mute their phone? Who said I mute mute your phone, please. Please. Right. So you all now you see why I say that first. Because you see, if promoters would have them but say 4 times within the year, not to carnival, but you see after carnival, Brother Maraj, you
Yeah,
don't
man.
think people will run down that like a callaloo, like a Sunday lunch? That is my thinking of this. We have to get these Calypsonians who has soca songs that is overwhelming. Have them now. It must not be no $300 show, all inclusive. You know what I mean? And people coming out, you know, they're coming out to hear the soca stars. Look at him in June having some reggae stars coming here, and the kind of money people will go to hear them. We have stars here that could. All right, so I will leave that there now. All right. Now the next move is this: Kaiso dying. Now I could tell you, since they brought out this soca chutney, I am not against the East Indian. That is the and the semi-finals. Like you see how we go to Skinner's Park on a Saturday after the semi-finals. That is different. That is their semi-finals. That is their thing. So I don't think in the 70s and 80s had song to run nobody from nothing. That is my view. To run nobody from nothing. Because I around the 10 years. And when you see you know, this is me in Skinner's Park when they have big clash. You must see Africans and nobody never used to be singing no racial songs. But it's just I'm repeating this. They brought out soca chutney and the Indians and they're going to their thing, and that is their thing. They love it. And they look many years ago, Skinner's Park packed with mud. And enjoying themselves because it's soca chutney and that is their thing. So I don't think nobody run from nothing. One or two Kaisunian maybe, you know, just bad mouth. But anyhow, let me leave that there. Now, the next point is this. Kaiso writers nowadays, they are I'll say they are mocking pretenders, right? M-O-C-K-I-N-G, they are mocking pretenders. Mocking. They are writing competitive songs. And I can remember in the 70s and 80s, when you go in a tent and you hear Calypso, you know, people, they are hungry and enjoying themselves. Nobody see now in those tents, the kind of Calypso you're hearing, when you hear it once, Marty could bear me out to this, you don't want to go back the next night, because you see, they don't have no songs that will want you to go back to hear again. Nobody don't have no nice humor, no nice Calypso with good music where you could dance. After the band chorus is back to singing again. You know what I mean? So you know, they don't want to please the crowd to let them hear good music from musicians where they could dance. Even Master and Sparrow had mastered that in the songs. You're getting good, even short, you know what I mean? You're getting good dancing music, so in the tent and you want to go back to dance. Nobody's jokers, no. I call them jokers, writers. They're only writing song for the mash, brah. They're writing song for the mash, brah. So when you go in the tent, you have to sit down and listen to a song long like a Clico marathon, which I ran 2 marathons, 26 and a quarter mile. Who going to hear a song long, and tasteless? That is why they remember soca, because it's soca short and sweet. But you see, you need people to write good Calypsos. It ain't how much good Calypso again. The writers are them only on money. They're writing joke, J-O-K-E. They are jokers. Those names who they have on the list, they are mocking pretenders. I ain't care who hear me. They are mocking pretenders. Listen to songs from 30 and 40 years ago, Calypsos that made it in the Mashra, and listen to the kind of garbage you're hearing now. Tell me who's writer.
So what you saying, Anthony? What you saying that the lack of attendance at the tents are basically not good Calypsos.
That's right.
That
And it's long. And it's long.
Okay.
And it takes it's long. You see the writers and they writing songs, the master about serious songs about. You know? George, you would know George. Back in the 80s, when you go in a tent, you want to hear, you're hearing sweet things. You see everybody only want to sing to competition. And they stop picking humors now in the mash, bruh. And all that nasty moves too. They stop picking nice party song in the mash, bruh. And they used to pick Ronnie McIntosh and Super Blue.
And
they used to mash up the savannah. These jokers, judges, they are mocking pretenders too. The master must be something where imagine bringing guest artists, soca artists in the master, and they have good guys so up tempo. They don't want them in the master. Why? Because you see the writers and them is a clique now, boy. Right? So I would say those writers are mocking pretenders, but I will rest for now.
All right, Anthony, thanks. Good points. Mr. Drago, you good? Ainsley.
Yes, welcome, Mr. Ainsley Myers to the Calypso man. Good night and welcome to the broadcast. Guys, okay, by the meantime, let's take a little quick break and we're coming right back with Let's Talk Calypso.
It's on tonight. Let's talk Calypso. Join the conversation on www.caribbeanpulse.net with our special guest, George D. Mirage, Calypso historian, author, researcher, and a man who knows about Calypso. Your host would be at Morris Edwards, aka Brother March. Tune in tonight, Wednesday the 20th of March, 8:15 p.m. on www.caribbeanpost.net. And let's talk Calypso!
Alabadei, alabadai. Mass illiteracy in this country affecting the youth in society. I'm talking to young people here in this land. I want you to give me your attention. You're raping, you're shooting, you're kidnapping. It's too much of movies all you're watching. Forgetting education, that is the key to be successful in society. So as a council parent, this is my plan to set the future generation. We just cannot continue in this way. We must invest in them children today. Because if we don't, we will have to pay. We must invest in them children, I say. Role models is a scarce commodity in this modern society.
So guys, the music in the background was the man Dave Vozer, aka the Blender Boy, hailing from the Birds Calypso tent, and that was the song that Senior Counsel Mr. Russell made mention of when he talked about good calypsos that never make it to the big stage, to the Mashga. Remember tonight, guys, the topic is why are the calypso tents dying? And let us stick to the conversation. Let's stick to the point. And we have so many guys on the Coliseum tonight. We want to hear from the other guys who didn't make a contribution yet. As regards to yes, why are the calypso tents dying?
What you found on that, the topic is what calypso tents are dying, not what calypso is dying.
Right.
To me, everybody else, calypso is not dying, and I will say that right now it's right up there. It's a blooming, a flourishing, but the tents.
Why are the tents dying? Yes.
The tents, and if everybody know the history of the calypso tents, it was the first tent came out in 1920 by Railway Douglas. He started it, and ever since they are since they started it, they were like, oh boy, 50 or 60 tents around. People would just go to them just to hear the calypsos. And as Russell said, you cannot hear them on the radio, so they go to the tents. But it used to be hundreds of people in the tents. All of a sudden, in the last 20 years or so, hardly anybody, except for opening night. And that's the topic I want the people in the Coliseum, the people who I know involved in Calypso, love the art form, want to see it go. We need to get the people back into the tents. And I just want to know, and don't forget I'm saying this because I live far away from you guys, so I'm not on the ground there to see. Right? Wait a minute.
One of her first jobs, she got fired from.
Okay. Good night to the icon of the Nog Vision boy, who just join us, Mr. Sheldon Nugget. Thanks for joining. And welcome to the segment. Let's talk Calypso.
Now it is sometimes. It's a pleasure. Good night, everybody.
Nice. So we're hearing everything that happening in your background coming back in the broadcast. So kindly mute your microphone on your device so we will eliminate that situation, Mr. Nugget.
Right.
And and anybody else on the Coliseum who has the microphone unmuted that bringing in unwanted songs, please mute your mic unless you're making a contribution so we can have a nice, smooth, clear presentation going out to the listening audience. So I want to say good night to all the listeners out there in Toronto that Mr. Maraj is in contact with, and welcome and thanks for choosing us here at Caribbean Pulse. Right, so that's what we're talking about. Mr. Russell, Mr. Kova, please mute your mic on your device. So because we're hearing what's happening in the background from on your end. So mute your microphones, guys. Mute your mics on your devices, please. Yes, so Mr. George, again, you brought a real dynamic topic that I think that the Minister of Culture and the chairman of the NCC and the president of the Trinbago Calypso organization should respond to.
Yes.
Yes, I want to believe that, because I saying that because I still leaving the line open, and you could reiterate the topic for this afternoon for Brother Sheldon who just joined us, so he will know that what we want to talk about tonight, just in case he,
Why the topic is why the Calypso tents failing in Trinidad and Tobago. Now I know when you have a tent in Carriacou or in Grenada, it's totally packed, sold out from way in advance. And I know that for a fact because I know people in Toronto from there. They said when we go to the tents, hundreds and hundreds of people.
Nice.
He even said up to about 1,000 people.
Wow.
They would go. Yes, they would flood the tents. You go to Guyana for the competition down there, and young Bill Rogers can tell you, the monarch down there, that it's always packed. But why in Trinidad and Tobago? And we have a lot of Bajans up here too in Toronto who go down for an pick of the crop down there, and the tents are always full. So why in Trinidad and Tobago we have 10 people per tent, 5, 25 to the most sometimes, except for the opening nights. Right. And after that was it. So we heard from a few people. So maybe Mr. Nugget could give us his views.
I think a lot of people lose interest in the Calypso thing based on because of some of these songs that being sung in Calypso then. If you remember back in the 70s and early 80s, a lot of Indians used to be in the tent, and most of the time when they go to the tent, these people used to support. Mm-hmm. And then certain Calypsonians start singing certain kind of song, and it kind of turned them from that. That is one reason. In Trinidad is a place that in recent years the crime level is very, very high. A lot of people don't like to be coming out in the night as before. I think there's a second reason.
Right.
And then those are the two main reasons to me, And then there's one other reason. Most of the people that used to support the 10th generation, some of them die out. Some of them can't really be mobilized as before. And the young people are gravitating more to the soca thing. So, I think we need to kind of get the young people involved in Calypso in a serious way so that they'll realize the value in it. And if we could draw the young people in it, then we could make the popular. That's the next step.
Mm-hmm. Well, 3 good points. I'll give you my views afterwards, but I think the number one that you hit on is crime. And car theft and all this stuff that people not coming out of the house. Yeah. I think that's the number one reason. But I'll drop on the others afterwards. Let's hear what anybody else have to say. Junior, you there? Junie. Like Junior, step away.
Let me squeeze in here quick. Oh.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I once heard other Calypsonians talk about, like in the tent, where a Calypsonian coming to sing tonight, But you know, he sell one ticket. He helped sell one ticket for people to come and help for him because he had to get paid too, although he getting paid from Tuco. But he helped sell a ticket, but he know he coming to sing. So that was a topic at time I heard a couple Calypsonians talk about, and that is something at least every Calypsonian supposed to sell some tickets if they're going somewhere. For some, they must have fans that helping sell some of the tickets is part of the thing too, besides some of the points that you all made.
I don't know if I could really agree with you, Junior. You are an artist, and you are a good artist because anybody who could sit down and compose 3-4 calypsos to the year and my heroes, and you go to the tent, you go to sing. You're not expected to go and sell tickets. You could advertise it. Hey, you know I'm singing tonight, but to go out and say
yeah.
sell tickets, that's not that's like me telling you I'm going out and say, hey, I buy me a Calypso book now. No. I can't do that. I rather give it away, but people will come to me and buy the book. To go and tell a Sparrow, say, well, I sell 10 tickets now, or shorty. I don't think. I think it's cheapening the talent of the Calypsonian, and that's my opinion.
Yes, I agree with you to a point, yes. But to be truthful, that's the fact. Because if the promotions not working enough, if for every Calypsonian, they have the fans in different areas and they get at least 5 tickets, 10 tickets sell. Yeah.
Look, I went to a Kenny Rogers show over here. I'm sure Kenny Rogers ain't going to sell a ticket. But
no, the promotions they have working for them. But in this case, where as we say, the people not coming to the tent, we have to try something else to do something to make it happen.
Yeah, well, your marketing people is at fault. The promoters are not at fault. But to drop on the Calypsonian themselves, I don't think so. I think the fault will lie with the promoters and the management for not doing the job to market it. That's all.
I think there's a lot of people in Trinidad like a lot of free thing and they like complimentary. So sometimes when you tell them about a ticket, they say, oh God, so much more, you can't give it for half price and all kind of thing. And that is it. We don't like to support your own thing. You know, and I know that for a fact. This year I had to sell ticket for my tent. 5 tickets I sell for my tent. Everyone was given a mandate to sell a certain amount of tickets. And I approached people that I even offered to put half of the money just for the support, and people still crying.
Wow. Well, let me just say this, you know, sometimes Calypsonian might have CDs, and because we know one another so good, they might want to give me a CD, and I just tell them, no, I don't want any free CD, free CD that's spoiled. I prefer to buy a CD from you. If I'm your friend, I will buy a CD from you, because how are you going to get money to generate money to do the next one?
Yeah.
So I don't want no free CD from any of my Calypsonian friends.
Not everybody like you, and I saw you did that when I tried to tell you to buy one of John Barry books on High Street. Not to buy it, I told John to give you a book, and you said no, and you tipped your hand in your pocket and you paid for it.
Yes, money is an expense to put out to produce something like that. So people have to be a little more thoughtful.
Yeah, well, coming back to the tents now, this is where I want to know what's going on. Sheldon is finished. Junior, so what are you saying about the tents? And not attractive enough? Need more Boko Jumbies? What's going on?
What could be a part of it too, even though after the Calypso and you have like a feta after, people come out of not just listen to Calypso, but they have So a little party after to get together. You know, that could be a little enhancement to the tent.
What they do in Toronto, and I could only speak about over here mostly, is when they finishing and the show finish, all the Calypsonians come and mingle with the crowd,
Right.
get autographs,
Yes. Yeah,
pick
that
up,
kind of.
and you know the camaraderie. And people were saying, "Look, I have a picture taken with King Cosmos or somebody." You know, it's really. And I think when the Calypsonians finish singing in that Trinidad, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm here with Calypsonians, and and they just disappear. Maybe they have another gig or something. But I would like to go when I go down. I like to go backstage, and when I go backstage to meet the Calypsonians, I am missing the other Calypsonians song. So I have to stay quiet one way or the other. But I have to take pictures where I go. The Calypsonians. So the Calypsonians should really come out.
Yeah.
Well, last year there was a big celebration in Toronto, and Farmer Nappy and Nadia Baston and Ki were there, and David Rudder, and they walk right through the crowd talking to everybody, and that is good. That's good marketing, and it's good for calypso or soca, whatever Trinidad music, and
I
and
want to this year.
yeah, who's talking there?
Yeah, yeah.
Anthony, go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned Guyana and Grenada, Calypso tent. This be packed like who's in a sardine at right?
Yes.
You know why? I want to believe. Now, if Grenada had, let's say, 50 soca artists as Trinidad, I believe it would have been different. If they had 50 or 55 soca artists like Trinidad, it would have been different. Because you see, as Nugget had mentioned, the soca is where you see the 30 to 50, that is the food. The 30 to 50, that is the food. As I would say, a soca song is not a marathon. It's not 26 and a quarter mile. It's just 3 minutes, right? And that's the problem here. With the tents, a Calypso is a marathon. And who's going to sit down to hear a marathon that really, well, look now. We have good Calypsonians who have good soca songs 50 years old. I repeat, we need to have some promoter need to have an all-inclusive at least 4 times for the year after Carnival. Charge us 800, people will run it down. Over 50, 60 and 70 will run it down, really. We're hearing all your soca's, all the Calypsonians who has big soca calypso, big soca calypso. Man, will mash up. It will tear them count money. And wherever they're having it will be too small. Trust me.
So
What would I
Anthony,
have to do?
in fact, what you're saying is only because we have so many Calypsonians in Trinidad, hundreds, it's hard for the tents to be jam-packed, just like in and Guyana and Carriacou.
No, I say soca artists here. If it had over 50 soca artists in Grenada, like Trinidad, they would have been having soca shows there like here. And they'd have been, pulling away a certain amount of the crowd. That's what I'm saying. If they had 50 soca artists in Guyana or in Grenada like here, because it's every year we're getting 5 and 6 and 7 and 10 new little soca stars coming up, It's every year,
Yeah. I know.
I can have close to 300 soca artists, so that is the point. Those countries don't have soca singers like here. So I mean, they tend that is why in the 70s and 80s, the tents used to be ramped up, because I can remember going to Skinner's Park when you see Sparrow and Kitchener clash. In a Skinner's Park. Hello? Because those days had no soca show. Right? They had no soca piece. right? It had no soca all inclusive thing like now. So that come and that pulling, and the calypso, yes, it was more sweet. Writers were writing better calypso. They had big music. The band could have dingole and play good music in after the band chorus, you know, I mean, for a little 3 minutes, so the audience could dingole. But now as they finish their verse and the band goes back in the calypso again, no music, nobody to dance. All right, I'll
All
take a
right.
five.
All right. Mr. Drago, you good?
Yes, I'm here. Are you hearing me?
Yes, clearly. Now, you are a man in a tent almost every year. First time I, I come to the tent on opening night, always packed with people. Tell us after the opening night what the crowd is like at your big tent, Kaiso Showcase.
Okay, well, after the opening night, people excited to see what we have. So they come out in large numbers. And you'll find the other night, it's kind of, the crowd is not as large as the first night. So what we try to do in Kaiso Showcase, we try to get a show outside of San Fernando. So you'll
Oh,
find we look for,
yeah.
yeah, outside. So we go outside and do our show and come back. But from my way of seeing the things with the Calypso and the tents is that yesteryear the main places with Calypso was Arima, Port of Spain, and San Fernando.
Mm-hmm.
And like they say, by Calypso, all stories are told. So people from all in the hinterlands will come to Port of Spain or San Fernando. And in those days, you'll find, crowd, the place packed with people because everybody enthusiastic over the Calypso. But what
Right.
has happened now since we open up the thing now to the regional areas now where they have their own calypso shows, the bank have their own calypso shows, the most of the Indians used to support the calypso, they're going into chutney. So you find this widespread now. You know, well, even the banks have the calypso competition, Cuba, and I
Yes.
hear people all over Trinidad. So that kind of, and besides that too, besides the calypso, they have their own carnival too, you know. And
Yeah.
so that kind of pull away the people who used to journey into Port of Spain, they pull away. So you find we get less crowds in the city. So that is one of the reasons I saw. And like my brother Nokita said, we have some calypsos that some of the Indians didn't approve of. They find they were being threatened, so they sort of come out of it, participating. But yet still, I still see some Indians, not all, not all. So we talking about why the calypso turnout has dropped. So these are reasons. So what we need to do is to change up the system because the world is changing, climate change, everything changing. And we have to get something now to please the audience. Now, the audience, I realize they like to hear humor and they like to hear not social commentary, party songs. Because
Exactly.
you out whole day and suddenly evening you want to come and relax, you want to laugh and you want to dance. Hence the reason these comedian fellas and so on. You notice that a lot of people are following them now. Why? Because people want to laugh. And then too in the competition now in the Calypso now, it's not like long time, you know. Um People going to the Calypsonians going to the most social commentary. So after crowds sits down and listen to Calypso and hear social commentary, the next one again, and next time you get kind of uneasy. So some people start to talk while they're singing and so on and so on. So we need to balance it in now, I will say. Um, for instance, you have your Calypso, you have your mix it up with a little humor, you mix it up with a little party song, and you could bring in to the thing one of those comedian guys just to do a little thing in the middle to break the monotony. So you
Right.
come and give a joke and so on, you know. And you even two things you could do too is you have a part of the show where you call a man from the crowd to do a two verse or something in some old calypso or something, and that will bring stir up the crowd again, you know. But that's for long, just short things that you're doing there to kind of have the crowd going. So you find, I think, that will change up the thing a little. But to say calypso is dying, I won't say calypso is dying because I've seen plenty young children, youths and so on, um,
Thank
practicing calypso, you know. But we need to change up the system how we do it. We can't do it like yesteryear, come and say go off. No, we have to do things to bring the people back. So that is my position. I don't know what you say, Mr. Maraj.
No, good points. I still will go with Sheldon Nugget. View that crime has stopped a lot of people from going to these stands. At least me, because I if I borrow somebody's car because I don't drive in Trinidad and I go, my mind would be, I wonder if my car safe, boy, you know, stuff like that. And it's the crime situation. I firmly believe is the number one cause of
Yeah.
people not go to tents. This thing about, well, some Indian people might take offense or something, but I am yet to hear a racial calypso. I will be honest. I listen to every song that Coco and Alo sang, Watchman, all the people who they want to victimize, and I'm on the call name. So, but I have yet to hear um, where it becomes perceived to be racial is the crowd is interpreting what the Calypsonian are singing, and that's where the perception coming it can be racial, and the encore verses are really the fatigue part of it, where people can't take fatigue. But that's a talk for another time. But I think crime would be it totally um, more so to go to the test. All right, Drago, thanks, man.
You're welcome. You're most welcome, sir.
Very, very, very well said. When we started, I decided to, you know, listen to everyone's contribution in the interest of fairness. I want to say a special good night to Brother Hamidullah Wahid, very, very prominent supporter of Caribbean Pulse, and my good friend. We came all the way from way back in 1987, and we very, very, very close. And he's a
One
very
stick of matches, boy. One stick of
one
matches.
stick of matches. So, Mr. Hamidullah, I know that you just make a comment and you commended Mr. Junior Bisnat on his contribution. You said, well said. I inviting you to call in now at 297-6756 let's hear from you as well and be our guest on the call Coliseum here tonight. So while we're waiting on your call, I will put in my 2 cents in the mix because from a community tent perspective where I manages the Birds Calypso tent. We started the Birds Calypso tent is roughly 20 years old, as I would say, 20 years in the business. And when we started right in Palo Seco, in the community of Palo Seco, because I was also a big supporter of the Calypso Showcase, and I used to perform with the cast, and then I move on to trying to do something at this neck of the woods and to create something. In a nutshell, when we look at the earlier stages where the Martinos and the Jazzy and the Sonny Woodley and all of these guys and them used to manage the Calypso, we're talking about Spectacular, and we're talking about Kitchener Review, and we're talking about Sparrow with Prospector and all of them big guys and them managing the thing, and Calypso was booming. it seems as though Calypso used to fare better with people who were non-Calypsonians and managing Calypso as a business. Because when we look at Spectacular Forum and Spectacular Promotions, even to date, if Spectacular call a show now, it has some dexterity in it. It has some, it has some real interest where a lot of prominent artists, always contributing and most of the productions are very productive and successful. So it seems as though Calypso used to be prospering better in under a business like management structure. And I say that to say, in all fairness, that the Birds Calypso tent did a lot of projects to sustain what we were doing. I hear Brother Calendar spoke about keeping events and things. The Birds Calypso tent at one point in time, we do a Calypsonian ball at the Palms Club in San Fernando with Paul Joey Lewis. Invited, we had Bali come in and do a guest performance on that night at the presentation. Unfortunately, that glorious Saturday night presentation at Palms Club, it fell on the same day with the Shouters Baptist Day, and most of the people who really was coming to the event, they went to the Baptist Day celebration. The event wasn't successful as what we invested in, because we talking about a little, and I could remember at the night of that Calypsonian ball with Paul Joey Lewis and I think was Desmond or Alpa B, or one of them in Palms Club, that Birds Calypso tent single-handedly promoted. We had the honor to have Brother Resistance and Dwayne O'Connor and Bali and one or two of the big Calypsonians coming down to Palms Club at that night of the show. But unfortunately, most of the Calypsonians never show up at the event, and the brand was Calypsonian Ball. What we tried to do was to bring Calypsonians in a united environment to dance and have a good time and treat it as a prototype, because we did 3 events with Paul Joey Lewis. Started off at Unique Hall in Santa Flora, and when we did that dance as a Calypso tent off season with Paul Joey Lewis, the police had to escort us home next morning, hot sun, with boxes of money. That was the raking that we raked in as revenue, as fundraisers. And I could tell you that Birds Calypso tent had the whole of St. Patrick, and as by extension the Southwestern Peninsula, supporting this event. We saw young people coming to this dance. We saw old people coming to this dance. People from every ethnicity came and supported that. Tickets sold out. The venue sold out. The air conditioned unit breaking down. And I could tell you that Calypso will only survive with a prototype, with a business perspective. And it must be structured business-wise, not friends, not organization. The organization, yes, supporting the Calypso tents, but the Calypso tents have to work as well. Off season, on season. I am talking about projects from a community tent perspective, but with a business approach. We went ahead and do another event at China Gardens in Separia, another sold out event. Alpa B, Desmond from WAC Radio, Paul Joey Lewis, guest performers from who wanted to come and prop up the thing, big names. Again, Brother Resistance, the president of the organization, was there present, and along with a couple Calypsonians who had an interest in what Birds Calypso tent was doing on an off-season basis. I asked the bank to give us a financial audited report as towards what kind of funds that the Birds Calypso accounting for over the period of years to go and have a meeting with the Minister of Culture. When we got the appointment to go and meet with the Minister of Culture, she was Miss Gasby, and the bank gave us a breakdown. They could not have gone back to all of the years that we were depositing and paying and doing transactions. And amazingly to see what the Birds Calypso tent were doing as a community-based organization with a prototype approaching Calypso from a business perspective. So when we talking about songs like Mr. Maraj now, I want to no, we have until 10 o'clock tonight. It's now 9:24. So we will extend tonight until 10 because it's a public holiday and a lot of people listening and a lot of valuable contribution was made. So we need to talk a little bit and then I will allow Mr. Maraj to wind up this segment. Then we will move to some more information as to where we heading at with the Calypso Museum and everything else. And hence the reason why from picking up from where I left off, right, promoting the community tent on the fundraisers, right? And we do so many projects. As at one point in time, Miss Francisca mentioned that Miss Joan Yule Williams, we drafted the project for the Carnival Village, for a Carnival Village in Palaseco Village Room. In those days, Palaseco Village Room, I don't know how many of you guys know that we used to have international cyclers coming into Trinidad for 2 days of sport when Tessero was down on this corner here, pumping, right? The first live broadcast when that WAC radio station came into existence that Kenny Phillips and his company did was with the Birds Calypso tent at Palaseco Village Room. We got Petrotin to sponsor that live segment, 4 hours live broadcasting on WAC radio, where Birds Calypso tent, I think it was for the Judges Night or one of those nights, and Tessero or Petrotrin, I can't remember exactly who, they paid the sponsors to bring WAC radio. For the first time, WAC ever leave the station to come and do a live broadcast. So, I'm saying to say that the support for the tent, I remember when Birds Calypso tent doing our grand opening down there at Palaseco Village Room, with a band and with brass and everything. We used to have the members from the prison's band doing the brass section, and we have a nice little backup band with chorus group, just like every other tent. And amazingly to see after that kind of standard, it started to decline because the support we was getting, the financial support we were getting from the ministry and from the relevant Tuco, whatever, it started to decline, it started to depreciate, and we still made efforts, like I told you all earlier on with the Joey Lewis promotions and all that, during the year, to keep the Birds Calypso tent going. And that's why we still in existence, that's why we were consistent, that's why we remain consistent, and we have a brand. Unlike, we lose most of the financial support that we used to be accessing through the ministries and through Tuco and whoever. And that was the revenue to afford us to have a band to back up the artists. And then we gone silly, and then we gone nobody getting in the semi-finals from the community tent, even though we had brass band and we had chorus group and all that. It was tough because to compete with Spectacular Forum and Kitchener Review and Shadow Tent and all the other tents, right? To compete with them guys, it was not easy. It wasn't easy to get in the semi-finals because we know the semi-final. When Super Blue appear in the semi-final, it's dust in the place. It's thousands of people in Skinner Park in the older design, not in this new design. It's dust. literally dust flying in the air. That was the power of Calypso. That was the energy of Calypso. And when at the end of the day, when we looking at the box office, so much of people was in Skinner Park, and at the end of the day, we only are counting for so much of money. And I think that is God. Every unfair game is played twice. I am saying this to say that the sustenance of Calypso must be from a transparent perspective, and stop the pimping, stop the exploiting of the art. This is something that is indigenous to us. This is something that is in and belongs to Trinidad. And if you want to use it as a hustle for your personal well-being, so be it. If you have a love for the art, well then we could see eye to eye. I'm not in it, and I'm sure that the guys on the Calypso and most of the people who listening to our program every week and are coming in to reiterate that this is the segment Let's Talk Calypso on the community radio station Caribbean Pulse, and the link is www.caribbeanpulse.net. That's for the broadcast. We also streaming live on the other social media platforms, and we are very in a nice vibes here tonight. And Mr. Maharaj brought a topic that is so broad and is so interested, so that we could find some solutions to move Calypso and to get back Calypso in the limelight instead of having it in the darkness. So the intention is to talk a little bit, to plan, and to also update the listeners who have a vested interest in what we are doing as to where we at with the Calypso Museum. So the main project is to establish a Calypso Museum, and we are partnering with Mr. George, who has the archive and the artifacts and all of the history to establish his museum. And asking the question that we are debating here tonight is very relevant. I would say that we extended invitation to the Trinbago Unified Calypso Organization. I have not contacted the chairman of the South Central Zone, who is also the vice chairman of the Trinbago Unified Calypso Organization. I have it in my intentions because, you see, I just deal with protocol, and I just deal with big men. And fortunately, we had a meeting with the South Central Zone chairman and the South Central Zone committee that I am a member of. And what I proposed to them, it was directed back to me that it cannot be handled from a zonal perspective, that they will try to have a set of forum with the president and the general council for us to present. And that meeting was somewhere last year in October, or early September or late September, October. And to date, this guy, Mr. Steve Pascal, he's the vice chairman of the organization, and he is the person who said that he will revert our concern to the general council for a meeting. And this guy seems to be turning his back on and turning his word on us. And I cannot attest to these things. And I just wonder why these guys and them acting in the way they are acting. This is public information, and I am prepared for a debate or a challenge with him anytime, or the president or the Minister of Culture. Because I am standing on a solid foundation, whereas the artifacts and the history of the Birds Calypso tent could attest to prove anything that I am saying here tonight, could validate. We could go pound to pound. Let us examine why Calypso and the Calypso tents is not being supported from the general public as it is. I am not sure. But my take is that Calypso has to be the Calypso tent has to be reverted back to a business perspective presentation, and then and only then we will see the corporate Trinidad and Tobago and the general public filtering back into what we're doing, and do it meaningful, do it with our love and with all fairness. Let's try to move the thing forward. We'll cease there for a little while. So when we come back, guys, we will take Mr. Maraj perspective in general.
It's on tonight. Let's talk Calypso. Join the conversation on www.caribbeanpulse.net with our special guest, George D. Mirage, Calypso historian, author, researcher, and a man who knows about Calypso. Your host would be Mac Morris Edwards, aka Brother Mark. Tune in tonight, Wednesday the 20th of March, 8:15 p.m. on www.caribbeanpulse.net. And let's talk Calypso.
So guys, before Mr. Maraj comes in and conclude this this part of the program for tonight, then we can move on to discuss the Calypso Museum itself. I just want to say at this point, I am very, very disenchanted with the way in which the powers that be is treating with us to date. Why are you guys who is there now looking, and when a member of the organization stands up for something that is right, you all feel that I am a bad person or posing some threat to you, when I want to contribute towards bringing the organization and making this organization into an entity that will be respected. That's all I want to do. And if you guys don't want to understand that, I cannot force you to understand that. As we speak, I am willing and ready to have a debate so that we could sit and we could speak like human beings, like big men, big women, and let us chart the way forward for Calypso. Yes, Mr. Marge.
Yes, Brother Mark. A good sense. Good luck in your pursuits. I know your heart is in the correct place, and from what I can see from the Coliseum, the people log on. You have a good cast behind you. Unfortunately, I live far away, and I've been here for a while, and look like I will die here. Okay, so I can't, but I do have my country at heart, and I have my culture at heart, especially, and I would like to see this Calypso Museum built. If it's something I have to do, but I have to depend on you guys down there to assist. And I don't talk. I'm like Brother Mark. I'm an action guy. It needs to be done through. We could correspond on the internet, WhatsApp, whatever, Zoom. But we need to get it. And he has been doing the work. We spoke today at length, and some of the work that he's doing. And planting the seeds. That's what we need. But we definitely need this museum. We need. I mean, I look at YouTube. You could throw a stone, a rock could go in London, and they put up a barrier and say, "The Queen sat here," and that's a museum piece. We have one of the greatest art forms in the world. The first record that sold a million copies, I have it. I have quite a few copies. I'm going to donate that. Let the world see the first record to sell 1 million copies in any genre of music is a Calypso record. And I got photographs of almost every Calypsonian. And to have them frame up nicely, the unique way, with sponsors, the doing one or two, it can show, it can attract people, it could attract tourists, it could attract schools, businesses, the general public, and it needs to be done. We just can't talk now. We got to make Shorty Home into a mini museum. I know she called it a Black Man Family Farm or something, but we need these things around the place. Stalin Home. I mean, people don't know Stalin has his house that could be converted into a museum. A Kitchener Home, I've been doing it. The hideaway is there. We got so many heroes in Trinidad that we are not doing it. So I'm just going to beseech everyone. If you know anybody around the place that has old Calypso records, vintage 45, 78, whatever, don't let them throw it out and play a flying saucer with it. Grab it and keep it till I come down or give it out to Brother Mark. And we can start there. The record jackets are very important to keep the history of the musicians, the MC of the tents, the year the record was made, the lyrics of the songs, all that's very, very important for us to keep. Even the history of the Calypso tents that we're talking about tonight. From my record, they had about 75 tents. 75 tents. I mean, if I call some of the tents for you, you would be amazed that nobody say, hey, but that's history. It is history. You have things like cultural ambassador, where we know Central Window is Kinte. Back to basics. Birds, here's birds kind of pretend. Kaiso Powerhouse, Kaiso Wagon, Kaiso Russo, we know about that one still. The missionaries, we know about that, New Wave. So they got over 75 tents. You got to list them. That's part of the research. So my big thing here is to educate the people on Calypso and let them be aware. Let the radio stations, somebody got to make sure the radio stations play more Calypso, man. We got 35 radio stations almost, or more than that. About 2 or 3 Calypsos are 100%. 50% radio station. We got gospel, local chutney, Kozla Parang, fan, jazz. We got all these country and western we have into that one. Rock, play local music. Get the kids involved, get the youth involved. And then we're going to be getting somewhere. Everybody who come from Trinidad, who come away, grab onto the Calypso fan and mass and everything just to show and be proud that they are Trinidadian. Baramak mentioned today when we were talking about my involvement in Trinidad culture over here. Yes, I do have an independence cricket match that has been going on for about 12 years, where 2 Trinidadian teams from locally in Toronto play. We have 2 Tassa bands. We got, fan, DJ. We got a corridor competition. We got also all on the same ground at the same time. We checked one time. The police said at one time we had 10,000 people, and everybody with thousands of Trinity flags flying all over the place. So that's what I do. Promote my country and my culture. So I'm hoping that the people at the Coliseum here and the people will stick with Brother Mark. He and I talk almost every week. And that's it for me, Brother Mark. That's it for me. Anybody have any question or comment?
No, that's not it. That's not it yet for you, Mr. Marge. What I was supposed to ask you is for your conclusion on the topic that you raised this afternoon. In a nutshell. I mean, not in a nutshell, but let us hear from you now your personal perspective as the topic that we are discussing. Thanks for the
10,
update on the history.
the history. No, that's okay. The Calypso 10s, from what I've been hearing from the 10 people on here, is that crime to me is the number one. Anybody who tell me they're chasing a certain race, Indians out of the tent, or that is an excuse to come out. Okay, if you really love your Calypso, sit down. If you get jamming from the crowd, then you can leave. But Calypsonians are not racial. I have not heard a single racial Calypso. I heard a little thing, but if you thin skin and you want to take it, go ahead. But it is definitely not true. To me, I don't go to the tents anymore, except when I go Palms Club, and I live in San Fernando. If I borrow somebody's car to come down, and I don't get parking inside, which you hardly get parking inside Drago, yeah, you hardly get parking inside. You have to park on the street, and you're worried about your car. Right? You're worried about walking towards the car. And that's my feeling. Right? I mean, I'm not young anymore, so I get older now. I can't fight off anybody. But crime, to me, is the main thing. And as somebody put it, I think it was Sheldon put it, Tall Black, is the type of music that people come to the tents. They don't want to hear humor. I know it's a hard topic, humor. Duke said humor is the most difficult song to compose. Okay, they want to hear humor, bringing a little bit of vintage, some nice soca song mixed with Calypso, as Tall Black said. You know, we got to get the sponsors back in. Get a good Calypso. It's hard to pick everybody for a tent because we got so many talented artists in that. So many. I think about 700 almost. It's more. Yes, and they all can fit in tent, but you need to get the funny guy, Smiley, somebody in Cardinal, have a show. You know, well, I go to tents. When I go to a tent, I go to see the MP because it will be Joseph and Sprangadang and these people. What makes tent? No, I don't know what kind of MC you have now. But when I used to go, Sprangadang and Tommy Joseph was it. They control the whole thing.
And Brother George.
Yeah.
Oh, Brother George.
Yeah, man.
Don't forget. Now, as you mentioned a piece of what I said, now most of the Calypso intent are not melodious.
Yeah.
You know? Melodious. The melody isn't all of that. All of that. You see, my ears don't miss, you know. And when I say something good is good, and most of those things you're hearing in the tent now, it's dry, no seasoning. It's a good and the soca thing.
Hey, Tall Blacks, Tall Blacks is not easy, boy.
And no. I don't make up melody because I compose my own thing and I arrange my own melody. So I know melody. It's right. They ain't good at all. They're not good. And you see all of that is what now watch me. Trinidadians no good music, you know. They're no good thing when they hear it, you know. Don't get out, you know, they're no good thing, you know. So when they come in at 10 and they're hearing jokey thing, you know, 80s and 80s, you can't come back the next night. They have to go in a soca show to jump up. I'm gonna leave it there.
So
those are here.
All right,
Murad.
Junior here.
Hi. Yeah.
Yeah, Junior, go ahead.
I want to say something, right? This is the fourth night we having a discussion like this. And you know, it has so much hundreds of Kaisonian. You're hearing from nobody else, just a few Kaisonian here who in the program, who really care about the Kaiso then. Nobody else is calling in. Where all of them? And all this thing happening, this is Kaiso, this is we business.
Yeah.
And they even calling in and say something and make a contribution. So who really care about the museum then? If Calypsonians ain't care about it, then who will care about it? Who will? Well, the few of us who doing it, I just letting you know, up to today, I had a truck dropping material home by me, dropping steel and other materials and blocks and things. Whether who build or who ain't build, we working on a museum home in San Fernando. Right?
Let me see a quick pick here. Brother Mac Warrior, which is my brother Mac, he mentioned about which we know the birds always have activities. No, Brother Mac Warrior. When those big name tents know every year they're getting close to 300,000, they are no time to have nothing with me, no year. They are like, hello, don't make me laugh.
You
They
see?
are like, hello.
You see your views and opinion? Your views and opinion, you're on your own. I have no court close. I have no court close here at all, Blacks.
You could go to court now in a slippers here, and now they are like the emancipation trend. I mean, they are like the emancipation group. The emancipation group only speaks when it's close to emancipation to get their money. And within the year, like under the earth or the Mars, right? Emancipation group only speaks out close to emancipation to get their money. So when these big game friends know every year they're getting 100,000, then they're trying to keep, not waiting no year, they're not trying to that. You got a shorty every season, they're getting big money. I go look up there.
Lord Father.
Dr. Marat,
Yes, I'm
searching for a time to come back.
Yeah, go ahead, Brother Ishmael.
Yeah, Dr. Marat. Listen to me carefully. I think everybody's point is valid. All right? But listen to this lineup. Lord Gibraltar.
Mighty Gibraltar. Go ahead.
Right. Mighty Gibraltar. Lillian Sweetbread.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Crazy. In Time to Come.
Right.
Bill Schutzman. Back to School. Okay? And maybe All Rounder. With one of his, I can't remember one right now, right? You will tell me that people going to rush for that. Okay? You go tell me that will be a failure? People coming out to hear them kind of songs. We still have people, singers writing and singing those types of songs. Short Pants sang a song some years ago. Speed. And that is what's going on. You understand? You have to be seeded. You understand? They're not picking the right songs. No apology. Bye.
Okay. All right.
Time. It is now 9:52, and we have 8 more minutes to the hour of 10. And I want to give everybody on the Coliseum a fair opportunity to make your final contribution. So, starting from all those who did not make a contribution yet, as regards to the wind-up, the floor is open to Brother Sheldon, Brother Ainsley Myers, and whoever quickly want to say anything else before Mr. Marad wind up. So guys, this is your opportunity. Mr. Myers, any final contribution?
Yeah, I would like to say good evening to everybody, and then finally good night. I would say this program is a program of value where we can share things pertaining to Calypso, and I like that. And I hope that we go from strength to strength and more people join us who can make this thing happening. And for the people in the museum like Biznat and Mr. Miraj, we're surely going to work towards that because that is something that is needed in Trinidad and Tobago. So with that, I'll say good night to everybody.
Good night, Zago.
Yeah, man. Blessing to you and the family as well, bro. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but on the last program, you asked a question. I didn't hear you come back up with it, but I have answered it here. Sorry for coming back in.
All right. Yes.
Yeah,
well, we have some minutes, so we could deal with it. We have some minutes. Let's do it.
Yeah. What is a Calypso?
Yes.
When did I get files here from Brigo all around here? A calypso is a story being told in rhythm and rhyme. It goes on to say, calypso is also a spirit that manifests within yourself. Being called upon to perform on stage, you are no longer the same person in the same mode he or she was before going on stage. That is it in a nutshell.
Very good.
Right.
So definition one to consider. Right. So we will look at it. You'll send me a copy of it, and we will look at it, and we'll compare it and see how we could treat with it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I would like to ask
No
Brother
problem.
Moran if he could use either lagly or a piece of elastic to stretch this thing to next week Wednesday. Right? Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Lagly
Mm-hmm.
or
Yes.
elastic to stretch it to next week Wednesday. Lagly, you know what's lagly?
Yeah.
Lagly when you go to go a long time, lagly, you're making it lagly?
Yes. I make kite with it, man.
Right, good. Right. So you could stretch it now to next week. Right. Well, I enjoyed the thing. Everybody had their own point of view, and I could say plenty about it, but it was nice being in your company. And I would say good night to everyone, the world to big world, all the Central Rainbow Stars, our 10 the missionaries from Princeton, which I'm a PR of, entertainers in Tobago, and the birds, boy, the hummingbirds, but hey, no, I'm the birds.
Pelicans.
All right, so I would like to
Jackdaws. And what you say again? How you say it? Eat well, sleep well, and what?
Oh, eat properly, exercise, jealous no one. I repeat again, jealous.
No one.
No one. And you can train jala. Because you know, jealousy is a killer. All right. All right. And make a stranger laugh. Okay, love.
Perfect blessing, man. But a nugget.
Yeah, I want to thank God for everybody on the forum tonight. It was very inspirational and edifying. I hope that all our contribution, come to the fore in the future. I want to wish everybody, strength and powers and let me just keep this thing together because there's in unity you could conquer anything. So let me just keep it tight together and work towards the museum, work to keeping Calypso alive, not just a carnival time, but throughout the year. Continue having programs, shows, and even workshops to educate the younger ones about Calypso. Because I think the future of Calypso lies in the youth. And the more that we inspire them, the more that we can keep it flying high. So with that, I want to say good night to everybody. And God bless. Stay safe. Keep your head up and don't get fed up. Long live Calypso.
Peace be unto you and your family as well, bro. But Junior, I want to just I want to address your concern, and I want to extend additional support as well to what you're doing as regards to your museum development. Now, I would tell you, based on what you said, if no other Calypsonians not calling, there is a whole bunch of people who listening. But I selected you guys to be on the Coliseum because we were really looking for a team to venture into this project as regards to establishing the museum. I did not add most of the people who want to be here, but we have a whole bunch of people who supporting and who like what is happening on the downswing of things, and we know how the politics is play. So let us see ourselves who are in the forefront here and who making these contributions as the stakeholders, the major stakeholders as what we are projecting, and we welcome in and will also extend the invitation to anybody who has a vested interest and genuinely want to fall in and let us do this together for no personal self-interest or no popularity or no fame, all for the love of what we are doing. Yes, Junior, see your mic on. Go ahead, bro.
Yes, I would like to hear the president of TUCO making some kind of contribution towards this conversation.
Correct. Well, as you know, the invitation went out to him, and I also informed him that we are here every Wednesday at 8:15. Every Wednesday, again, I will reiterate, at 8:15 with the segment Let's Talk Calypso with yours truly, Honorable Dr. George Maraj, and the guys on the Coliseum who is partnering to establish the Calypso Museum in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for call them out.
Before
you call them out.
Before we sign off, I would just like to make mention that I did some research up to early this morning as a reminder to myself that Mr. Nerlin Tate, being alive, if he was alive, he would have been celebrating this year 90 years on the 20th of June. And some way, somehow, I just letting you know, I would like to make some kind of contribution, pay some kind of tribute to Mr. Nerlin Tate, a man who born and grew up in San Fernando. All right, so it's a project I'll be working on, and I will be asking. I'll try to see if it can happen for we to erect some kind of like a big guitar made out of concrete, signifying Nerlin Tate celebrating 90 years as a San Fernando person, a Trinidadian that helped curve the ska and the rock steady to the reggae music which everybody around the world enjoy today.
Correct. But I know he's a man with a heart like that, and he's always doing things because I looking at the design that you have happening right now in the museum that we're building, and yes. Let us know how we could support, and let us know when we planning all this so we could get together and do it, as well as coordinating and helping in whichever way. Nerlin Tate, boy, the man who take the strum to put reggae music where it is today. A big one. That's a big one.
Yes, man.
A big one.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Maraj, any final, let's say,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should make this a part 2 next week.
Okay, all right. So, right.
It will spread in this week to people about what about the Calypso Chants are feeling, and I plan to have a part 2, but Tall Black wanted it as well. So we're going to have a part 2 next week, Wednesday. So everybody spread the word, and phone number, they can call in, they can make the contribution.
Yeah.
So a part 2 is coming next week.
Okay. Cool.
And good night, everyone. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Those who are not on the Coliseum or who's on the phone, especially the dozens from Toronto and North America, thanks for logging on again. Okay?
Well, I wouldn't say love, I will like you more for that. I wouldn't say love, I will like you more.
See you. So yes, guys, we had a great time, and let me finally extend Eid Mubarak to the Muslim community as we speak. Guys, keep it safe, keep it real. Mr. Loris Balak, I saw he was on the live as well, sending out greetings to you and the Muslim community. Mr. Hamidullah Wahid, I know that's your religion as well, so I know you're a real supporter of all the cultural activities that going on. Every time you could look for somebody, you're sure to see Brother Hamidullah supporting. Great guy. So again, as we come to the end of tonight's segment, it is exactly 10:03 in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and I just want to thank everyone, Mr. Maraj, Mr. Al Ishmael, Brother Junior Bisnat, Mr. Kalinda aka Tall Blacks, Mr. Sheldon Nugget from Nog Vision. Nog Vision, and we had Mr. Myers, Ainsley Myers, and who else left? Mr. Russell Kova. Wow. So many names. I hope I didn't forget anybody. Lady IB out there in Tobago and the entertainers, Calypso tent. Big things happening, guys. Soon you all will be hearing about the Trinbago community tent virtual Calypso Monarch competition that we are planning. And I want to extend congratulations to the directors of 7 of the community tents throughout Trinidad and Tobago. And we had our first meeting this morning at 8 a.m. and everybody was present and everybody head is in the same place. So we are looking forward for seeing the first cultural cooperative in Trinidad and Tobago. And we will be the community tent cultural cooperative. So things to look forward for. And in a nutshell, we're not stopping until we establish what we want to establish, which is a museum, a Calypso museum, and of course, by extension, Mr. Junior Bisnat School of the Arts, Sports and Art Museum as well. Mr. Kalinda's intention to rough up all them Calypsonian and Nog Vision, who has a whole project. Thank you for passing through as well Saturday. Yes, I had a whole visit from Sheldon Nugget and our team. We went down to the mud volcano and we do videos and we promoting things and we having things happening and lively business. So the thing in a nutshell is that this is where we at, always on top of the game. Guys, thank you all so much. By extension, the listeners in North America out there, Mr. Maraj Crew in Toronto, Brother Connector. We've seen so many good things happening with you out there. And the segment again, Let's Talk Calypso. We're winding up for tonight, guys.
It's on tonight. Let's talk Calypso. Join the conversation on www.caribbeanpulse.net with our special guest, George D. Mirage, Calypso historian, author, researcher, and a man who knows about Calypso. Your host would be Matt Morris Edwards, aka Brother Mark. Tune in tonight, Wednesday the 20th of March, 8:15 p.m. on www.caribbeanpulse.net. And let's talk Calypso.
So again, guys, as we come to the end of tonight's segment, yes, I just want to invite you to stay tuned, stay connected to Caribbean Pulse Community Online Radio, and enjoy the rest of tonight's broadcast. Keep it locked, keep it real. God bless you. Have a safe one. Enjoy the rest of the national holiday in Trinidad. Eid Mubarak.
It's
and caves of Barbados, Puerto Rico down in Tobago. Before you book your flight to Toronto, please embrace your culture. We Caribbean, we Caribbean, we Caribbean. Embrace your culture, embrace your culture. The other day I went on a cruise. What I discovered, friend, had me most amused. Yachts and crafts that we once held dear. One by one, these traditions disappear. I bought some souvenirs when I reach St. Lucia, but when I check beneath, I see made in China. But them Chinese on the other hand, they don't buy anything from our land, but quick to sell chai food and friends. So we got to appreciate in our own, just have some faith. The only way to demonstrate is to love. Love your culture. What we have, we must promote. If we want our ship to float, instead of helping row their boats, I say please embrace your culture. You could climb safari in St. Lucia, learn to scuba diving and gorilla, sail a yacht around the Tortola, please embrace your culture. We have from Zouk down to soca, reggae music, Latin and salsa. Don't need hip hop from Atlanta, no. Embrace your culture. Hey, 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 hey. Embrace your culture. Hey, embrace your culture. Yeah. When last you saw corn or plant a seed, running from the land is how we proceed. Your grandfather used to till the soil, but now your hands get soft. Fast food have you spoiled. And long time to get a suit, you had to check the tailor. But now the youths get cute, buying up the hanger. We've thrown away the things of the past, but modern things don't last. No wonder we die so fast. We got to appreciate what we have is just as great. Before yourself you start to hate, I say love. Love your culture. And when love belongs to we, from silver sands to shining sea. Before we lose our identity, embrace your culture. The sugar mills up in St. Kitts, exploring will also need it. The best way for us to benefit is to embrace your culture. The only way our islands will profit is when we keep our pay in our pockets. Instead of boosting them foreign markets, please embrace your culture. Aye, aye, aye. Aye, yeah. Embrace your culture. Embrace your culture. Tis we Caribbean, so embrace it, love it. We Caribbean.
She said she want the realest one time. Not every day wine and jam, so I give her the realest talk. Oh, she looks so pretty in her mask. Costume on fleek and the feathers just drop like